Okay.
Hello and welcome once again, Rosemary, to this amazing platform, Internation. And thank you so much for taking the time to come and share with us your wisdom, your expertise. And so Rosemary has been, as I mentioned, doing Ayurvedic astrology as well as reading palms since the age of 10. And she's really good at what she does. Without further ado, please, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Hayat. And it's thank you so much. Always nice being in your event. And I love how you bring people together and create a community. That is beautiful. Big welcome to all the new people. I see a lot of new faces. And hello, Priyesh and Sandita. Nice to see you guys. Hope you guys are doing good. So we start, and as Hayat said, this is the first time in years that there is sun on Good Friday, and what a coincidence that we are going to talk about sun. So let's start with, today we are going to discuss sun from an astrological perspective, mainly Vedic astrology, which is what I studied, which is what I practice, and also some references to palmistry, but palmistry again is a part of Vedic astrology. So starting, what does the sun do? What does the sun indicate? How the sun affects our life, how the sun affects our relationships. This is what we are going to be discussing today. Hi, Priyesh. Hello, once again. So what exactly is the sun? And first of all, the question that should arise, the first question is, we talk about 9 planets. How is sun a planet? Because what we study in geography is that there is a solar system and sun is the center, sun is a star, sun is not a planet. But from an astrological perspective, sun becomes a planet. How does this happen? So in astrology, we take into account consciousness. We do not take into account physical form. Astrology in Vedic form is in Vedic literature is called Jyotisha. It is a part of Vedanga. It is actually an ancillary part of the Vedas. And Vedas were all about realizing the self. It was all about self-realization. It was spirituality. It was actually understanding the cosmos, understanding the individuality amongst us, and also the commonality between us, and understanding how we are all different forms, but are actually connected. And this is how Jyotish, as we study now, this is why astrology, and this is why consciousness. Sun here is considered to be a planet on the basis of consciousness. There are these 9 celestial bodies that create a lot of impact on us. These 9 celestial bodies that we have to suffer, or they reward based on our karmas, and they affect us. This is the law of the universe. For example, when I commit a crime, for example, I steal from, say, Hayat's house, I will have to, when she catches me, even if she does not catch me, I will go to somebody or the other will catch me, and I will go to the police. I will go to the cops. Once I go to the cops, if it is my first mistake, I will be let off with a warning, probably. But if I'm a repeat offender, I will get caught sometime or the other. I will be punished accordingly for my crime. If I help somebody, I am bound to, there may be help received from the same person or help received. And we've all experienced that. Sometimes when we need something the most and we are not expecting, it comes from an unexpected source. Why does it happen? This is the law of karma. What you do always comes back to you. Whatever we do, whether it is in this life or our past life, it all goes into our karmic bank account. Like how we earn and we put it into a bank account, similarly, we all have a karmic bank account. And we all put here, instead of money, we are depositing our karmas. And the bank also, depending on our age, depending on the bank, it gives us different returns on our savings accordingly. Here, there are 9 planets who watch our karma, who see what we are depositing, and accordingly give us the returns on our karma. That is why we in our ignorance, we say, God is punishing us. Why is this happening to me? I don't deserve it. Or how did something so wonderful happen to me? I must have done something good. And it is funny, whenever something good happens, we are like, oh my God, I must have definitely something good. I must have definitely done something good. And this is why this happened. But whenever something bad happens, why me? I've never done wrong at all. Right? This is generally our thinking. But whether it's the good things happening or the so-called bad things happening, and I use the word so-called because ultimately nothing is bad or good, which we will discuss in maybe some other class. The thing is, we are only reaping the fruits of our own karmas. And these fruits, the deposit on our karmic saving, on our karmic account, is administered by these 9 planets. The 9 planets are given different departments, they rule different things, and accordingly they influence us. And every planet affects us for a certain number of years in our life. In Vedic astrology, we count a person's life to be 120 years, and that is how we calculate how many years will we be affected by sun, how many years will we be affected by Saturn, how many years will the moon be affecting us. And sun rules over a person for 6 years. It is the shortest Mahadasha. It is the shortest period, but it is the most potent period. And this I speak from my personal experience, something that I've experienced myself, and of course, something that I've experienced by reading so many charts and so many hands. Sun is called prana, or life force. We are all alive. Some people are more alive than others. Yes, there is something about some people. And some people are, of course, they're alive, physically alive, but then inside them, something is dead. Their eyes are dead. They don't have any drive. What is wrong here? What is the difference here? Because if you go to a doctor, he will say your heart rate, their heart rate, that person's heart rate, your breathing, that person's breathing, your physical activity, that person's physical activity. It's all the same. But why are some people more driven, more positive, more confident than the others? Despite being in the same surrounding, despite being in the same circumstances, what changes here? What brings the difference? This difference is brought by the planet Sun. Sun is called the life force or the prana in a person. Sun is also called Pratyaksha Devta or visible God. In Sanatana Dharma, we worship Sun, and in several other cultures, Sun was worshipped. Sun is a visible God. It is something that we all see in the morning. Worshipping of Sun, Sun was worshipped in various cultures, from India to China to Japan to Mexico, Peru, a lot of Egypt, a lot of cultures. In fact, even Jesus Christ, in a book called the Book of Malak, was referred to as the Son of Righteousness, S-U-N of righteousness. And it is not a coincidence that Christmas is celebrated on 25th of December, and actually he was born on the 9th of 24th of December, and that was celebrated as the festival of Sol Invictus, or festival of sun god in various cultures, especially in Rome, ancient Rome. And this is why it spreads, it's still alive, and it is thriving. And this is why Jesus, in his short lifetime, could actually influence so many people and still continues to do so. This is the power of sun. In Mexico, when you go, I don't know if anybody's been to Chichen Itza or Teotihuacan, they are all sun temples. They offered sacrifice. In ancient times, in Peru, the ruler of Peru was always considered to be the incarnation of sun. In Japan, sun is worshipped as a goddess, and she is said to be the supreme controller of the universe. And Japan also has the symbol of sun on its flag. And Japan is a very formidable economy for the world. This is the influence of sun. Sun rules prana, sun rules life, sun gives longevity, sun gives strength, sun gives confidence. Sun rules. Now, on a personal level, how does sun affect us? Sun rules father. It's a masculine energy. It indicates your relationship with your father or generally with men in your life. Sun creates, right? Without sunlight, there will be no life, there will be no plants, there will be no vegetation. Sun creates. Sun creates, and then, of course, sun is needed for nourishment, for growing, but excess of sun can also destroy. This is why it is important that the energy of sun be balanced in our life. And this balance is also indicated. The balance or imbalance of the element of sun, or the energy of sun, is indicated on our charts. Those with a very good sun in their Vedic chart, in their astrological chart, or in their destiny are generally blessed with very powerful parents and a very powerful father, particularly. Those who have a very good, well-placed sun, especially in the second house, generally are born in a family lineage that has very good reputation, that is known for a particular craft, and they carry on the family's craft. For example, it could be a very reputed carpenter in my town who everybody is queuing up to get a consultation with or get to work with. These kind of family reputation, strong lineage, this comes when the sun is placed in the second house, when the sun is placed very well in the chart. Sun gives very strong family connection. Sun gives a very strong father. And sun in the 9th or 10th house also gives a very, in the 9th house, generally the person born with a 9th sun is very lucky for the father. The father prospers after the son is born, and the father is a very strong mentor to the son. In the 10th house, if somebody has a well-placed son, then they outdo their father. They actually end up becoming more professionally well-known and successful than their fathers. Also, they will end up having mentors who are like their father figures. They will get help from a lot of male in their career or profession. This is how the sun functions, and this is how the sun is related to your relationship with your father. Very good sun, very strong father, good relationship with the father. A weak, and also with men in general, older men. A weak sun means a difficult relationship with a father, means a difficult relationship with older men in general, or with mentors as father figures. This is one of the main attributes of the sun. Sun rules the eye, the right eye to be particular. An afflicted sun will lead to issues of the eye. An afflicted sun generally leads to a poor eyesight. Sun related to the father figure also means that sun is considered to be the father of creation of the universe. This, and naturally, because it is the creation of, because it is related to the creation, because it is the energy that created us, along with, of course, another planet, this is why sun is also the life force. This is how we correlate the two. Sun rules government, higher authorities. For somebody who reaches the pinnacle of their success, what sets them apart? You must have seen there are people who work very hard, but they never get credit for what they do. They never get the returns, no matter how much effort they put in. And then there are people who do not work that hard, but they always end up getting the key assignment, they end up getting the promotions, they end up getting the right job, the right contact. Which planet is at play here? Again, it is the planet sun. A very well-placed sun means easy career success, easy professional success. You will be respected by people. You will be rewarded. You will be rewarded proportionally more to the effort that you put in. A weak sun means disproportionate. You will get less return for the amount of effort that you put in. And generally, people who become CEOs or CFOs or become leaders of states, political leaders, generally have a very, very strong sun. And even business people have a very strong sun in their hand or their charts. Sun gives a person confidence. Sun rules self-esteem. A person with a very strong sun will be very confident, will have very high self-esteem, just like the sun is in its own appearance. When sun rises, everything else disappears. You don't see anything. You don't see the stars. You don't see any other celestial body. That is the impact of sun. A person with a very, very strong sun has a similar impact. They will always be noticeable. They may not be conventionally attractive, but you will always end up noticing them. When they stand, everybody else just sort of disappears or becomes less visible. And they have very high self-esteem. When a confident person walks into a room, he may not be very educated, may not be very beautiful, may not have the perfect figure, versus a person low on confidence, may be very beautiful, may be everything. But what happens? We end up noticing the confident person more, because that confident person has the blessing of the planet Sun. I was watching some show someday and I realized, it is so easy. What happens with a confident person? They live in the present. They only remember their success. What happens to a person with low self-esteem? They only remember their failure. They try their best to work on themselves, but they end up remembering their failures. Sun does what? Sun burns all the negativity. Sun will never let them remember their failures. Sun will only make them remember their success. And this is why a person with a very strong sun is very confident, has very high self-esteem. Sun, like I said, sun burns negativity. Now, there have been various studies that have proven that sun has antibacterial properties. You also, I mean, we all know this, that wherever there is dampness, wherever there is darkness, only there will mold grow, or bacteria, they breed in colder places, wet places. Sun does what? Sun will destroy, sun will burn, but sun will not let this breed. This is what the sun does. Sun burns all negativity. That is why it is so important. This is why when you spend some time in the sun, it is also proven to be a cure for depression. Spending time in the sun rids us of negative energy, of negative vibes, and helps us become closer to life force. It awakens, it burns, it starts, it sort of lights the life force again, and we get the drive again. Sun rules drive, it rules ambition. Sun wants to shine. Sun does not want to be obliterated by anything at all. And if you want to become successful, you have to become like sun. You need to understand where and what it happens. Sun, most of the rags to riches stories of people who came from nowhere and became very successful, what do they have in common? Again, a very strong sun. Again, I would use the word 90% of the people, because there are also other planets which make a huge difference. And sun also needs to be in conjunction with those planets to give that kind of gigantic success that I'm talking about. For example, Warren Buffett. If you see Warren Buffett's hand, he has a very, very strong amount of sun. The ring finger, this finger, is associated with the sun. People with very strong sun have longer ring finger than others. Scientifically, a longer ring finger indicates a high testosterone level. High testosterone levels mean more athletic qualities, more drive. And naturally, when you're more driven, you are physically fitter, there is a greater chances of you being successful in whatever endeavor you strive to undertake. Yes or no? This is how the sun works. So a long ring finger, example, Catherine Middleton. If you ever see her hand, she has an extremely long ring finger, the Princess of Wales. If you see, there's this Korean group called BTS, and there's this one artist out of the group who's called V. V has an extremely long ring finger. And in a band of 6 boys, this guy is known globally. Despite being a globally well-known band, there is one chap who outshines everybody else. And when you see his hand, extremely long ring finger, and a typical, some guy with a very lower middle class background making it very big in life. When you see most of the businessmen, you see a very strong amount of sun. And also you will mostly also see a very high ring finger, because like I said, even scientifically, a longer ring finger indicates higher testosterone levels. Higher testosterone levels naturally indicate a higher drive. This is sun and palmistry. I explained sun and nature. I explained sun and us. Now, what about the environment that we live in? This is called Vastu, or the science of, the environment. So basically my house or my office, how we balance the 5 elements. And these 5 elements correspond to 10 directions. So the interrelation of all of this is a science called Vastu, which is in a way synonymous or sort of resembles Feng Shui. So Feng Shui and Vastu are similar. Feng Shui is, of course, the Chinese method, and what we use is the Indian method, which is Vastu. A house with sunlight everywhere is always considered to be a lucky house. It is good for the inhabitant. It is very good, and even in an office needs to be well lit, has to receive sunlight for a person to be successful. Because, like I mentioned earlier, sun kills negative energy. When it kills negative energy, naturally it means that positivity will thrive. Positivity will overpower everything else. And this positivity will manifest in every sphere of your life, whether it is career, whether it is relationships, whether it is, home front, anything that you can think of. But an overabundance of this will always have the opposite result. Sun is very good for relationship with the father, generally with older men, but sometimes, especially when somebody is undergoing the influence of sun, they may actually reach a stage of separation. And this is the time. What happens is sun will suddenly increase your drive, your ambition. And whoever the partner is influenced, they will start prioritizing their work more than their partners. And this is where the challenge comes in. This is where balancing of the energy is necessary. This is where a very strong sun, because it is unbalanced, can also lead to separation. A very strong sun also sometimes get eclipsed. We call it in Vedic astrology, we say it is eclipsed by Rahu, or the North Node. So a very strong sun also can be eclipsed if these energies are not used correctly. If they are not balanced, then instead of having the good effects that they can have, we start experiencing the other side of effects. How to, when it comes to those people who are interested in Kundalini and Chakra, there are 3 main nadis. Out of that, the one that is on the right side of the body is called the Surya Nadi, or the Nadi of sun. And when all of these 3 combine and they reach here, that is when a person reaches the crown chakra. This is when the person reaches self-realization, or this is called the ultimate goal of life. For the right side nadi to be balanced, this is also to be balanced, to be activated, it needs to use the energy of sun. It is called the Surya Nadi, or the Nadi of the sun. Sun in chakras is the solar plexus. It is the navel chakra. It rules the navel. It is situated in the center of your body, of our body. In Kundalini yoga, in Kundalini Jagran, when we are trying to awaken the Kundalini, there is a process called as Manipur Chakra Bhedan. The solar plexus is called Manipur chakra, and you have to cross that. It is the transition point. This is where a person goes from material, basic needs, basic desires, to higher goals, to higher desires. And eventually, when they when they transcend all the chakras, they finally reach the ultimate reality, which is that, we are all one, that we are all one consciousness. So this transition point is also ruled or controlled by the sun. Sun rules solar plexus. However, once we reach that stage where we activate the solar plexus and we are able to awaken the sun element, and we are able to harness the energy of sun, we may also be tempted to misuse our power, because it gives you power, and with power also comes a temptation to misuse what we have. When you misuse, then instead of the Kundalini awakening and going up, it goes down. This is, in short, the effect that sun has on all of us. And one more aspect, one more point that I would like to mention here is, generally we say, when are we most scared of spirits? Or they say, when are spirits all around? It's always night. Those who believe in spirits and those who know those who work with them, they know that spirits cannot tolerate heat. They do not like sun. They cannot thrive wherever there is sun. But they thrive, they breathe, they're very happy in colder climates when in the absence of sun. And they generally bring with them negative energies. This is also why sun is so, so important. Pleasing sun is also related to pleasing our ancestors. And in India, we have a culture of offering water to the sun every morning. We believe that this water goes straight to our ancestors, and our ancestors will be pleased, and they will keep blessing us, and we will keep prospering. But again, it is a cultural thing. All of this is to be, I want you to take only what you agree with, what you identify with. You don't have to accept whatever I say. How to please sun? Those who have a weak sun, or those who want to, harness the energy of sun, or those who want to balance the energy of sun, how do we do that? Sun loves the color red, sun loves the color yellow. So start using more red and yellow in the space that you live in. It could be your office. You could put a yellow flower on your desk. You could put a red photo frame on your desk, or your bed sheet could be yellow. Your curtains could be any of these colors, depends on whatever you can come up with. Wear a lot of yellow and red. Sun, the gemstone that corresponds to sun is ruby. However, personally, I've had 2 bad experiences with ruby, and just mentioning it here. There was this one, and both of them coincidentally happened with women. So if ruby is not used correctly, it can bring disastrous results. So there was this one person I knew who was a builder, which she was a pretty successful builder back in my hometown. And then there was another lady who was a doctor, who was the owner of a hospital, a gynecologist. And I remember both of them wore ruby, which is the gemstone of the sun. I don't know who recommended. And both of them ended up being imprisoned under false cases. Because if sun can bring you fame, then sun can also make you infamous. So one needs to be very, very careful about how this, especially before wearing gems, one needs to be very, very careful and should only wear it by consulting with a proper astrologer or somebody who understands this science. Wearing gem also strengthens sun. Sitting in the sunlight or basking in the sunlight for at least 15 minutes a day helps you get stronger. It strengthens your immunity. It strengthens your mental strength as well. So one should spend at least 15 minutes in the sun. Another ritual that we do is we offer water to the sun every morning. This should be done within 30 minutes of sunrise. This helps our ancestors, and this also helps us prosper in various ways. This is sun, various elements related to sun and how sun affects us, from palmistry to Vedic astrology to father to confidence. I hope I've clarified more on this. Is of course dependent. How it actually affects every person individually depends on the lines of your palm or the placement of the planet in your own horoscope. Everybody has different horoscope and everybody lives in a different geography. So, we have our individual horoscopes, and then every state, every city has its own horoscope. This is why no two people have the same destiny, because of various factors that are taken into account. So, how your sun works depends on how it is. But if you follow the small tips, definitely it will help you in understanding more, in overcoming whatever obstacle you are facing in your life because of sun. I hope I've made things clear. If there is anybody who wants to ask any question, feel free.